Winston-Salem. His name is Jake Dickert.
We are back
head coach of Wake Forest, Dave
to the
Clawson, calling
ACC
in
huddle.
career. Here's Coach Dickert at his opening press conference.
This is a prestigious brand that is known for an amazing academic institution, an amazing athletic institution. One of the biggest draws, if I'm being honest, wasn't just the investment in the facilities. It was part of the location. You know, I'm a small town Midwestern kid, graduating class at 27, but I'm excited to get to this region of the country. You know, I shared with John that where I was at Washington State, you know, we're surrounded by Canada, Oregon, and Idaho. Not exactly the recruiting mecca of the U.S. Okay, so now we're surrounded by Virginia, Tennessee, South Carolina, our home state of North Carolina. I can't wait to meet the high school coaches of this state. I can't wait to invest in the high school recruiting in our own state. So it's really, really important to me. It's going to be important to our program. We're going to have a lot of access to our program. I think that's really important to show these high school kids how we treat our athletes here. And I think it's special, I think it's unique, and I think it's the right time. You know, I think I'm really honored to be here in the ACC. What a competitive conference it is, and I look forward to doing some special things here.
All right, I'm inspired. EJ, you were saying before the break, great hire. Why?
Great hire. We had him on our show on Off Campus on Sirius XM Channel 84, 3 to 6, Monday to Friday. And the great thing about Coach Dickert, though, seriously, and you said you was inspired, he left that show inspired too. Like he's so energetic. He's young. I think he's going to understand the challenge that he's going to have at Wake Forest. And I think he's going to also, in respect to Coach Dave Clawson, he's going to change the way that you view Wake Forest. They have that long ride in the side on offense. He's not going to run that anymore. So he's going to bring in his guys. And keep in mind, Washington State and Oregon State were two teams that were left for dead, so to speak, when the Pac-12 dissolved. He still stood in the gap and still made this team, Washington State. They won like 8 or 9 games last year. So this is a guy who's going to understand, look, I can make a lot with a little. And he's already talking about high school coaches and making those relationships. That's what it's all about. Yeah. You can get good players and good talent there at Wake Forest. The facilities are beautiful. It's a nice part of the North Carolina area. I think he's going to do a great job, and he's a great hire.
Yeah, I'm certainly excited for it. And one of the biggest reasons for me is look at the quarterback run that he went on. I mean, he had Cam Ward. He helped Cam Ward develop into what he was. The young man that just transferred to Oklahoma, Mateer, was the most sought-after guy at the time, was going, looking at Miami, looking at Oklahoma, looking at, you know, all these other schools. And so for me, obviously he can see that talent and develop that talent to get it to a certain extent. Can you get back to that? Because that's kind of what Wake Forest has been missing. They went on a run there, but they had some great quarterback play. A lot of that Sam Hartman, obviously. But can they do that again and get in a really good spot?
Can Wake Forest ever be a team that gets a higher rated recruit out of high school? You know what I'm saying?
Donovan Green, that's the highest ever.
Yeah.
And he never could get on the field. But I agree,
Coach.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's talking about recruiting the state, and I think he will do as good of a job as you can do. But I think he still will probably have to keep the philosophy of bringing in the right kind of guys and developing into big-time players. Because I think to start off, it's going to be tough unless you got a bag full of money.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
And maybe they can get that. There's some wealthy people that are probably alum of Wake Forest. So that's going to be the key, Coach. I agree
But you see what Duke did as well. 2 years in a row, they got a transfer quarterback who's potentially going to help them be 9-10 win type teams. But this offense, when I watch it on tape, is so exciting. They're going to score a lot of points. It's going to get some kids wanting to play in this style of offense. And Damon Claiborne, the fact that they were able to retain him is huge. He's going to spread everybody out and give him a ton of space. So the offense is going to be no question marks for me. It's going to be the defense. Can that defense hold up and stop some people?
Wake Forest, early on, they'll get a dose of an ACC rival in NC State. They host them on a Thursday night. So Jake Dickert can make his mark very early in week 3 in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Let's move on to Virginia. They're in Charlottesville. Their schedule, Coastal Carolina starts things off. They get NC State early. We already mentioned that is a non-conference game, technically, because they have a home and home going on. And then what else do you see? I know we were talking earlier, maybe the easiest schedule in the conference?
Yeah, I think, I don't love saying easiest because, again, football is hard. Favorable.
Most favorable.
And here's the reason why. No Clemson, no Miami, no SMU. That's a big deal.
No Notre Dame.
No Notre Dame. It's a very big deal when you have that in your favor. And what can you do? You got a new transfer quarterback coming in, and Chandler Morris. A little history lesson for you guys. Chandler Morris was a little snot-nosed kid running around Clemson. My offensive coordinator's son at the time. Crazy to imagine him playing at Virginia, but he was a baller last year.
North Texas.
At North Texas was like the
Got
leader.
big numbers.
Big numbers, like second or third in the country, passing touchdowns and yards. So he's going to sling it. I mean, they're going to throw it all over the yard.
Landry left?
He's gone. Yeah, he left.
Where'd he go?
I don't
Where'd
know.
he go?
I couldn't tell you. Maybe he's still out there. Who knows? But
Whole story.
he'll be the guy. Yeah, he'll be the guy.
Took all them turnovers with him.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean that was a big thing with UVA. They couldn't
Yeah, it's
take
fair.
care of football, and so
The
you
highs were
bring in a
highs,
new
the
guy.
lows were low.
Yeah, and it's like
How do you feel about Virginia in general?
I like him. I love what Tony Elliott is doing. I mean, it's hard to like a rival school when you were playing, but Tony Elliott's a guy that you could just fall in love with as a coach and as a man. And so he's done a heck of a job. The team's starting to look like, I feel like, what he envisioned for them. They started to win a couple close games. And so when you start getting guys that know your brand of football and have your same philosophies, then you become a better team because he walked into something that was tough. It was a tough situation, tough place to win at that point, but he's turning this thing around.
Year 4 for Tony Elliott loading, and we all root for Tony Elliott, and we'll see
No
what
doubt.
Virginia can do this season. Just a little nugget on that schedule: they have a bye before they play Virginia Tech. Virginia
deal.
Tech does not have a bye, so they'll be prepared for the Hokies
Mm-hmm.
this time around. It's one of the biggest rivalries
How you gonna feel about them that week?
Love him.
in all
Love
of
to see
college
them go.
football. The Commonwealth Clash. Also, the big game out there on the West
The
Coast.
biggest.
Cal and Stanford will break down their schedules next on the ACC Huddle.
We'll be right back.